big question here on Morning Kickaround. What does it take to start a club from scratch here in the United States? And to fill us in a little bit more, we got Alex Lubyansky from Detroit Metro FC. He's started clubs in various leagues, including NPSL, NISA, and now the UPSL. Thank you, Alex, for joining us here this morning on Morning Kickaround.
Robert, Jason, great to connect. Thanks for having me. Good morning, guys.
Appreciate you coming by. See you wearing your badge on your shirt. You got a rep all the time. Appreciate that. That's just like a low level thing you can always do. Just be always putting your badge out into the world. We just got done talking to a guy starting a pro team in Boise. Obviously, Alex, that's not what your level is in terms of starting clubs. I think the passion probably though is the same. So give us a little thumbnail sketch on Detroit Metro and what that is for you now, but also like your experience in this level of starting clubs in American soccer.
Yeah. So Detroit Metro is an unbelievable project, and I couldn't be more excited. The owner and president, Jeff Tripoli, is the most strategically aligned and just fantastic person I've ever worked with in this space. So our passion and our alignment is enabling us to get off to an excellent start in a way that, is truly unique and rare. And I think it's a byproduct of a lot of other experiences, a lot of learning, and then once again having an owner that is so incredibly dedicated, hands-on, and passionate about the area, about the sport, and aligned with the vision. Past experiences, started a club from scratch in Baltimore in 2018. That was an awesome project that continues on to this day. I'm no longer hands-on that one, but it continues, and we're still putting a lot of players into the MLS and abroad, and very, very proud of the success of that one. And then also was part of a intercontinental professional startup here in Detroit, and we acquired a club in Europe in a country called Andorra. And that was my other project that was between Baltimore and this one. And here we are. And again, this is by far the best one I've ever been a part of. And I can't wait to see what we're able to achieve over the next 10, 20, 30 years.
That's great to see that you've found an ownership group that kind of aligns with what you're trying to do. And you've kind of found a good spot. For context, the Detroit Metro, your current team that we're talking about here today, had their first season on the field. I was actually lucky enough to be at the first home game there. And in our previous guest from Boise, bringing a pro team to an area that doesn't have a lot of representation on the field, but here in Metro Detroit, there's a professional team, a plethora, a saturation of amateur teams, but you were able to do it a little bit different. UPSL doing the fall and spring seasons, but also the location a little bit different. You were able to get good attendance, from what I understand, over 1,000 through the spring season in attendance out there at the Legacy Center. Kind of explain, some of the ways you were able to get success, because not all these amateur teams in the Metro Detroit area are able to get attendance numbers like that.
It's incredibly difficult. And I look back to 2018, the reason that, even though I'm absolutely obsessed with this space and was dying to get into it, and that was my first project, the reason we chose Baltimore was Baltimore didn't have a presence at this level. And back then, even in Detroit, if you threw a pebble, you hit 5 teams. And that remains the case, if not more so. So this is a very, very difficult market to start something new. That said, when Jeff and I started these conversations about 2.5 years ago now, I had never met a person that was in the position that he is in that was so passionate. And I just knew that with him being part of this project, we would be able to attract sponsors. We would be able to engage the community. We would be able to put on a game day that was second to none. And we've done so. Our game day is very unique for this level. There's a lot of teams at this level, but to say that another club that is a startup club has a DJ, drummers, bounce houses, all of the fan engagement that we have put out there from day one is very rare. So for those reasons, we have had success, and it's only gaining momentum. And there are some unbelievable new sponsors that will be announced as we continue through the fall campaign. But it's just been amazing. It's been an amazing time, and can't wait to keep moving.
So, Alex, one thing maybe it's a little remedial, I think, but there are obviously people who don't kind of understand what this level is and sort of what the options are for a club like Detroit Metro, where you're going to play, what other teams you're going to play, what kind of things you're trying to achieve, what the ultimate end game here is. So, can you give us a sense of that as well? Like, obviously people have heard of NPSL, they've heard of USL2, they've heard of some of these things. What is the space that works for Metro Detroit? Or Detroit Metro rather? What league works for Metro Detroit Metro? And then how does that kind of springboard you guys to what you want to achieve?
Yeah, so to answer that, I would we have two core philosophies of the club, two core values that are really germane, and one of those is autonomy. And autonomy to us means we want to be part of a league that enables us to operate as a truly independent club. And the UPSL is, in fact, structured in that way. There are other leagues that would allow the same autonomy. And, the U.S. is a highly nuanced professional pyramid at the moment. You two have incredible experience and would understand a lot of what I'm talking about, whereas, the average person that just loves soccer may not. And I think it is a very murky, difficult pyramid to understand all the way. Why do we love this level? Well, you take everything that is put together in US soccer, not forward facing as far as what's been announced, but in the actual practical reality of what exists. And for us, this level allows us to be part of what we consider to be the only sort of globally aligned event in the country, which is the US Open Cup. So we have entered there. We will be playing a US Open Cup match on October the 12th in Cleveland. And by being part of the UPSL, we're able to enter. And that is an actual event where we have a chance and we have a vision where we want to make noise and we want to win the fall campaign of the Open Cup to eventually play against pro clubs where they can't shy away from it. They have to play us if they're in the Open Cup. We also put on another event that doesn't require the UPSL, but the UPSL lets us. And that event was the Metro Merit Cup that we put on ourselves. Same concept, no entrance fee. We don't care who you are. Come play us. You have to beat everybody else that has the same idea. There is no entrance fee. And the club that won through that qualifying gets to play us at our home venue in front of fans. And should they defeat us, we just give them 10 grand. And for a club to do that at this level is very rare. I don't know that other clubs have done this. But it was an absolutely incredible event. And you know what? We lost and we gave them the big fat check. It was actually one of those commercial sized big checks. And I'm sure they ran to the bank to make sure that it cleared, like the movie Semi-Pro. And it did. But that was another event that we had to put on ourselves without an actual ability to, via the second core value of ours, which is merit, win your way up the levels in US soccer. This is the only way that in the current framework, we knew we could build something that allowed it. And the UPSL gave us a great home where we could do that.
So the UPSL, you touched on it, giving you some freedom to be autonomous, able to have your own identity as a club, start up new tournaments at your behest. But you also skipped over one of the things that definitely made it appealing. You've avoided two of the pitfalls of amateur soccer in Michigan. Is you have a roof. You're avoiding either the thunderstorms, the snow, or the blistering heat, and you have a bar there, which I've seen hundreds of people's light go out of their eyes when you're telling them about your wonderful summer soccer league. And they say, is there beer there? And when you have to say, unfortunately not, it's a high school stadium, the glimmer goes out. So you're able to do some creative things there. So you just started the fall season. You had your debut spring season. Was that shift of playing in those in-between months, the transition months of spring and fall, was that a big part of it, of joining that league, that schedule? Does that fall into your thing, or is it more the autonomy of the UPSL level that led you there?
From a scheduling perspective, that's a challenge because without competitive matches, you have to figure out, hey, how do we keep the guys going and how do we sort of fill this void for our fans as well? Which is fine because with the autonomy that is allowed, we were able to build our own exhibition schedule out and build out these events and, again, really build our own vision and model with the league enabling it. So that was obviously something we knew that would happen for us. And we were able to plan very well in this first year. Second year will only be better. Merit Cup was incredible. We can't wait to expand that and get more participants. We really want everybody to come take our money.
I've actually done a little bit of video work with UPSL, hooked up with them to help do some things for them. And, I'm sort of always astounded by the size, the reach, some of the things the unique things got going. I've been able to talk to Alessandro Del Piero multiple times because of the UPSL. So shout out to UPSL for giving me an opportunity to do that. He owns a club in LA as part of the ownership group there. We do have a question from our chat. This is about obviously this messy, convoluted system that you alluded to. Would it be possible for UPSL and PSL, and that's the league for clubs, to work together towards a number of semi-pro tiers sitting below the USL? Now, what I always talk about, Alex, and I don't know if you can maybe give us some insight here, is that the American structure tends to be league first, and then the clubs kind of come in after that. We can create a league, and then we populate it with clubs instead of the clubs existing, and then they decide, let's get together or let's form a league. And obviously that's how it worked in the rest of the world. With all of these different people trying to build the better mousetrap, what do you imagine the future to be for clubs like yourself and clubs in those other leagues?
Yeah, that's a great question and a very challenging one to answer. I mean, the clear answer is we would love for that to happen. Of course, we would love for that to happen. We would love for there to be synergy between every club and a federation that creates a pyramid where you could find a way to have all of those relationships and work our way up and work our way down. We want to lose and drop. We want that pressure. It doesn't exist at the moment. So my clear answer is, we want that to happen. And we will do what we can. But again, we are a autonomous individual club that are building everything that we can within the existing structure and framework and keeping a very close eye on what plays out. Obviously, what's going on at the professional level is hopefully going to have some version of clarity over the next 5 years, but it could be a battle of the leagues until it isn't. And we want to join whatever the federation enables to be a fully fleshed out pyramid as soon as it actually exists all the way.
One day we will all be working in the same direction. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we're all there and alive to see that one day. So the fall campaign, the second season for Detroit Metro underway. All the best, Alex. Thank you for kind of filling us in on kind of what it takes to get a team started and kind of the nuances of Detroit Metro and the UPSL. Thank you so much. And I'll hope to get out to a game here in the fall campaign. Thank you so much for joining, Alex.